Okay, so welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I am your host, Andrea Page, and today's call is really about product knowledge and personal empowerment. So, learning about the programs that we have within Healy, learning how to really integrate them into your life, into your health. So, I always add frequencies, but with the topic, I always add more of a naturopathic approach. So, what are the things that we can be doing within our life, within our lifestyle, as well as integrating Healy and the frequencies so that they can work synergistically? So, the mission for Healy is really about creating revolutionary products and opportunities to empower you to thrive and live a life of freedom, passion, and joy. And so their vision, again, is about empowerment, to help you live a healthy, fulfilled, and conscious life, and to inspire our growing community to make a continuous positive impact. And so this is why I offer these Healy Wellness Wednesdays, is because of this empowerment piece of really providing knowledge and education and empowerment around how to use this so that we can have that, we can thrive with this, and we are able to share it in a way with our community so that we can all grow and thrive. So on my last call, I talked about fitness. We talked about exercise and movement medicine. So I see today's call, which the focus is on sleep or rest, as the sort of the yin and the yang approach. So the balance of all things. So we want to move our body, we want to exercise, and then we also want to be resting and sleeping. And so we're going to talk about sleep, which also encompasses more of the sort of parasympathetic state, the rest, relax, repair, regeneration. So we'll be discussing frequencies that support that. And then towards the end, I will discuss the naturopathic and lifestyle elements that you can use in conjunction with the frequencies. So I found this quote by Mark Halperin, and he says, "Sufficient sleep, exercise, healthy food, friendship, and peace of mind are necessities, not luxuries." And so this is really my perspective when I saw this, is really about holistic health. So it's about the mind, the body, and the spirit, right? So sleeping and exercise, supporting our body through healthy food and all these elements, but then also through our mind, having peace of mind, having these elements that really contribute to our mental well-being, and then as well through relationships and friendships and passions that we have in our life, really nurture our soul aspect. And so the holistic health being addressing all of these things. And sleep is really important in terms of supporting the physical aspect of health and well-being. So why do we care about sleep? What is the importance of getting good quality sleep? Well, we spend about a third of our life sleeping, which is huge. On average, needs vary from person to person, but on average, it's recommended to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Now, some people get that in one go. Some people have 6 to 7 hours of sleep, and maybe they have a rest in the afternoon or do some meditation or a nap. But on average, this is the recommended amount. We're all unique beings, and so it's really about finding that optimal range that works for you. And usually the benchmark for that is when you wake up, that you feel well rested, you feel energetic, your mind feels clear, and you feel motivated and ready to take on the day. That's kind of like how I gauge your assessment of good quality sleep. So sleep is extremely crucial for our health, for our well-being, and for our healing. So we'll learn about these as we go along through the presentation. But so many incredible processes are happening within the body while you're sleeping. A lot of our organs are detoxifying, our cells and our tissues are repairing, our brain clears out lots of toxins. And then from a more of a mental and emotional aspect, while we're sleeping is when our brain and when our energy or our consciousness, if you will, is really processing impressions, experiences, and emotions from the day. So it's really about that sort of digestion on a physical level, but then also more of on a mental and emotional level. So lack of sleep and how that impacts our quality of life. When we're not sleeping well, it causes stress on the body. It can weaken our immune system. Long term, if we are having sleep challenges, it can really cause a disruption of our circadian rhythm. So our cortisol and melatonin cycle can get out of balance, which can affect hormone levels and really proper functioning of our organ systems in general. When we're not sleeping well, it causes fatigue or low energy levels. And also, we can experience an increase in pain perception. So, when we don't have sleep, a lot of people report that they have more pain during the day. Also, from a mental perspective, we can have difficulty focusing. Maybe we have brain fog, memory impairment, or cognitive issues. It can lead to blood sugar dysregulation, which can then lead to weight gain. And just overall, when we're not sleeping well, we tend to have lower motivation, and then also can affect our sex drive. It can also have a negative emotional impact and strain on our psyche. So that's more of, again, the mental and emotional aspects of the lack of sleep and how that affects our life. And long term, a sleep issue or a sleep disruption can really lead to adrenal burnout or adrenal fatigue. And so we'll talk about ways to support that in this presentation. So what are the benefits of optimal sleep? Well, it's sort of the opposite of what was on the last slide. So when we're sleeping well, it reduces our stress, it reduces inflammation in the body, it can lead to a reduction of pain. Good sleep helps support our growth, repair, regeneration of our cells and their tissues in our body. It can help with hormonal balance. It maintains our metabolism. It boosts our immune system. And really, when we're sleeping well, this is where we have that sort of increase in energy. We feel like we can focus and concentrate. We feel like we have more mental alertness. Our memory tends to be better. We have increased productivity. And research has actually shown that we make better decisions when we're sleeping well. Overall, mentally, we tend to have a better mood. And then long term, good sleep or having good quality of sleep can lower our risk of heart disease as well as other chronic illnesses. So it's really sort of the antidote to chronic illness, again, because this is when our body is really resting, digesting, repairing, regenerating. And then when we're having optimal sleep, we also have weight maintenance. And so my personal method is through nutrition, through exercise, and through sleep. And when those three are balanced, is really sort of the perfect weight loss trifecta. It's been super successful for my clients. So my approach with the frequencies and using it for sleep or any kind of sleep issues, if you're experiencing those, is really addressing acute symptoms first. So if you're having pain or you're having sleep issues, using those frequencies, and we're going to discuss which ones to utilize. And then the second part of that is using the resonance analysis. So quite often sleep issues are a symptom. They're not the root cause. And so using the resonance analysis to determine our bioenergetic needs, to determine where the imbalances lie. So if it's, caused by, say, a liver imbalance or a kidney imbalance, the resonance analysis will be able to pick up on these imbalances, and we'll be using those frequencies or vibrating those frequencies for those programs. And that really is addressing the underlying root cause and bringing those back into balance. And subsequently, our sleep issues can resolve when we're dealing with those, when we're really getting to the root cause. So addressing the acute symptoms first, but also using the resonance analysis to really determine maybe where that underlying root cause is and what is leading to the sleep challenges that you're experiencing if you are having those. And then considering the holistic perspective. So really looking at this as a mind, body, spirit. So if you are having sleep challenges, looking at it from that physical perspective through the mental lens. Are you feeling stress? Is your mind racing before you're falling to sleep? So what can you do to really help temper that? And then also, from a spiritual or energetic aspect of looking at those things of, are you connecting with other people? Do you have a community, or how are your relationships? Or do you have passions in your life that you feel you really are like interested in and pursuing? And so looking at that holistic perspective to really understand maybe what's going on within your physical body, but also your energetic body. So sleep frequencies seems like a good place to start. The bottom four are really focused on sleep. So we have sleep systemic, which is really optimizing that change into the delta state. So this is our deep sleep. This is when our body is really in this relaxed state, and we're repairing and regenerating new tissue, new cells, removing toxins from organs. So this is a really great one to run prior to sleep. as well as balanced sleep, which is bioenergetic balancing of the deep sleep phase. So these work very similarly in terms of putting your body into a deeply relaxed state prior to falling asleep. Now, bed rest is bioenergetic promotion of parasympathetic functions. So this is really rest, repair, and digest. These are more of activation or of the recovery and the relaxation phase. So this one I actually just listened to. Doc Steve talks about this and Dr. Michelle Patrick talks about this, but they suggest running bed rest in the afternoon. And also Doc Steve had said with bed rest, I think he had recommended using the ear clips or else using the sticky electrodes behind the ear on the mastoid. And that really activates the vagus nerve to help with the parasympathetic, moving your body more into a parasympathetic state. And then fine flow is bioenergetic activation through ionic movement in the body. So this one is really optimizing the flow, the chi moving through the body. And so this one is recommended to use earlier in the day. Some people have reported that when they use it before bedtime, that it actually activates them and that it has the opposite effect of really what they're trying to do. So this is where, in my experience of working with the different sleep frequencies is different people resonate with different programs. And so really trying different ones, seeing which ones, I tried all of these. I love deep relaxation and fitness. That's the one that just like puts me into this deep relaxed state right before bed. So it's really about finding the one that really works for you and just being open to trying different ones, and then also using these ones like bed rest or fine flow, maybe using them earlier in the day. And it's help. All of these are really helping to reset the circadian rhythm so that we have that, energy in the morning and then moving towards resting and relaxing in the evening. So still within the job and sleep program, we move to the second row and the second and third row, which is fatigue, exhaustion, systemic and acute, and then extreme stress. So in my experience with my clients, if they're experiencing any sleep challenges, it's quite often they have a lot of stress going on in their body, or they have some sort of adrenal deficiency. And so by working with the fatigue, the exhaustion, the extreme stress, these are really supporting the adrenal hormones, the adrenal gland, the kidneys, and it's really helping our body sort of, again, recalibrate, reset that circadian rhythm. And activation is pineal gland support. And so our pineal gland is super important for sleep because it's the gland is part of our endocrine system and it produces melatonin. So activation, again, I would run this one earlier in the day. I wouldn't run this one prior to bed. All 5 of these ones would be great ones to run during the day. And this is if you are feeling sort of stress or you're feeling that kind of burnout or overwhelm, any of these kind of sensations, that using these ones during the day to support you, and then running the sleep ones in the evening in preparation for bed. I am a big fan of the Gold Cycle programs. These are our foundational detox. Again, Nuno Nina, he created these, and these, especially Pure and Care and Balance, these ones are focused on strengthening our kidneys, really optimizing the bioterrain, the cell communication within our body. And so, running a Gold Cycle in the morning, and then in the evening, I love to run Release in the evening. I know Cassie runs it in the morning quite often, but Relax or Release, these ones are really beautiful, anti-stress, just kind of putting your body into that deep relaxed state. So I love to run Relax or Release in the evening. I think these are great ones for if you are working and focusing on improving your sleep. And mental balance, also some of my favorites. And these really provide nervous system support. So anybody that's not sleeping well, again, it's usually related to stress or trauma, unresolved experiences that we might have within our bioenergetic fields. And these might manifest physically as pain, as sleep disruption, hormonal imbalance. And so the mental balance is really, these were designed to support our mental balance and really supporting our well-being. And they work by clearing emotional blockages. They work by calming any kind of compulsive or behaviors that we have that we're looking to repattern. And it's really the mental balance. I see them as restoring that mind-body connection. And so when we work with these, we tend to move our nervous system more out of a sympathetic state into a parasympathetic state, and better sleep will be like a natural byproduct when we're actively working to support our nervous system and working for like anti-stress or relaxation. So again, at the beginning, I had that yin yang, the finding that balance between activity and rest. So last week I talked about, or 2 weeks ago rather, I talked about fitness and the frequencies that really support fitness. And in that talk, I did talk about that when, if we're not sleeping well, we feel low energy, we don't really feel like working out, or we don't really feel inspired to do much fitness. However, when we do exercise, it tends to lead to better sleep because we're working our body, everything's flowing really nicely, and then we tend to sleep better at night. And so it's finding that balance between these two activities. And in terms of sleep or supporting rest and relaxation within the body, I love regeneration, which is bioenergetic stimulation of vitality. So I see this as really creating more coherence with our energy flow through our body. Again, which is really supportive of the nervous system. And then deep relaxation. This is my favorite one to run in the evening. 24 minutes. By the end of it, I feel like somebody's pulling on my eyelids. I feel really deeply relaxed and ready to sleep. And so the deep relaxation is bioenergetic optimization of the relaxation phase. So really putting our body into that deep state of relaxation so that we feel prepared to go to sleep. And this is a great one if because sleep issues, they work in different ways. Sometimes people have trouble falling asleep. Sometimes they wake up in the middle of the night, or sometimes they wake up too early in the morning. And so I like deep relaxation if you find it difficult to fall asleep in the evening. And we'll also talk about some lifestyle practices, sleep optimization, to help mitigate this as well. So some other supportive frequencies that we have within bioenergetic vitalization, again, the pineal gland, because it produces the melatonin. And melatonin is what our body produces in the evening to help us prepare for sleep. Also, if we're experiencing any kind of anxiety or nervousness, running the nerves is a really nice one, and holistic support. Within the chakras, the pineal gland, again, third eye chakra, is related to helping us fall asleep. The sacral chakra supports our adrenal glands, and then the root chakra is a nice one to run if you are feeling sort of stress or any kind of, if you're not feeling very grounded or safe, there's some safety issues, or you're feeling really stressed, the root chakra really grounding us down to help us feel like we're more supported and more grounded. So, there's so many to choose from. I just chose sort of the ones that I love and use. As I had mentioned, in terms of sleep for me, this is why I initially invested in the Healy. Was I had not slept well in probably a decade, basically since I had children. And so the Healy, I was really interested in trying the Healy to support my sleep and to kind of help reset the circadian rhythm. And I have to say, I ran the sleep frequencies from the first day that I got the Healy, and within a week, I was sleeping really well. Within a couple of weeks, I really felt that my circadian rhythm was coming back online, that it was resetting. And then I had this beautiful spillover into other areas of my life where, and I started to have more energy. I was waking up feeling like I was rested. I was feeling more motivated. I was feeling inspired. And had this beautiful ripple effect into all these other areas of my life that I didn't anticipate, and felt really blessed to have this tool and this device to really kind of help balance my body. And so I have like deep reverence for the sleep frequencies, and also really feel for anybody that has these sleep challenges. And I know that lots of people, if you go into the Facebook page for Frequency Experience and you type in sleep in the search bar, so many people have positive reviews about how the Healy has changed their life and their health through using these frequencies. But although there are those 4 sleep ones, there are so many other frequencies that we can use to support it. So coherence is another one that I love, because it's bringing our heart and our brain back into balance. So it's like reconnecting again, that mind-body connection. The protection programs as well. So if anybody is sensitive to EMFs or other people's energies, planetary changes, there is a sleeping one within the protection program. So these ones are really nice to run. If you are impacted by EMFs, especially while you're sleeping, these ones are great ones to run to protect your energy. And that, if you are sensitive to that, it might be preventing you from getting into that deep sleep. And so trying the protection programs and seeing, again, this is like finding which programs within the Healy that really deeply resonate with you and have the most impact on your health and your well-being. And then deep cycle. I put deep cycle on here because, again, if there's any sort of emotional or energetic imbalance that's happening within our bioenergetic fields, that addressing these, the deep cycle will help address these. So again, the sleep is typically it's not the cause, it's usually the symptom. And so once we start to work with the Healy Gold Cycle, deep cycle, it's really helping us rebalance our bioenergetic fields and fully processing and digesting all of these experiences that may be blocking our energy. Having said that, if you're finding that you're waking up at certain times within the night, pay attention to that. See if you're waking up at the same time every night. From a Chinese medicine perspective, different organs are detoxing at different times throughout the day. And so if you're waking up at, say, between 1 and 3 in the morning, that's liver. That's your liver that's detoxifying. And so if you're consistently waking up, it might mean that your liver needs some more support. Right? So we can run frequencies that support that. We can use some naturopathic approaches, herbs or different foods to support the liver. Before liver, between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. is gallbladder. Our gallbladder is so important for regeneration and repair of cells. So if you're having trouble falling asleep, it could be that your gallbladder is a little stressed or deficient. And that, in that sense, it's important to create a kind of a routine around bedtime. So not being on screens at 11 o'clock at night right before you're falling asleep, because it's impacting your organ systems. Lung is after liver, so lung is between 3 and 5 in the morning. So quite often, if people are waking up early in the morning and having trouble falling back asleep, it might mean that your lungs need some support. So beyond just the sleep supportive frequencies that I'm talking about here, it's like identifying maybe where energetic blocks are or which organ systems need support. And then we can even use Healy programs that support those organ systems and your sleep issues or your sleep. You might be sleeping better if you do that. So vitamins that support sleep, again, there are many. But melatonin, as I mentioned, this is our basically the sleep hormone, and tryptophan, which is the precursor to melatonin. So our body takes tryptophan, it converts it into melatonin, which is released typically 3 hours before we're falling asleep, or 3 hours before. I think it peaks around 8 or 9 in the evening. Magnesium is another great one that helps relax our muscles, relax our nervous system. B vitamins, best to take in the morning, but when our B vitamins are out of balance, it affects other vitamins within our body. Calcium, potassium are really important for cell exchange of nutrients and information. Vitamin C, D, and E, these ones are really important for sleep and just cell functioning in general. Iron as well. If we're deficient in iron, it can impact our energy levels. It can impact, it can increase cortisol levels. It can impact our sleep. And then omega fatty acids. These ones are really important as well. So having said that, with those vitamins to support, so I'm going to talk about the digital nutrition mixtures that have a lot of these vitamins in it, that are really helpful for sleep. So there is a sleep one, which is in digital nutrition mixtures 4. I like to run that one in the evening as well. I think it's also 24 minutes, and it's a really nice one to run right before bed. But other ones that have those vitamins that I discussed are in mixtures 2. There's age, amino acids, hypovitaminosis, and then supporting the liver. In digital nutrition mixtures 3, there's antioxidants, hormonal system, which is really important, hormonal system within digital nutrition, but also within our meridians, within the bioenergetic harmony. If our hormones are out of balance, especially cortisol, then our sleep can be impacted by that. So supporting the hormonal system can also quite often resolve sleep issues. Spirituality has a lot of the neurotransmitter precursors, as well as the B vitamins, and then toxins is really beautiful ones. I think it has almost all of the vitamins that I talked about. In mixtures number 4, there's sleep, fatigue again, in number 6, there's exhaustion, relief, rest. These ones are all, again, supporting the nervous system. Psyche, there's regeneration. I mean, there's so many to choose from in digital nutrition, but these are the ones that had most of the vitamins that I had suggested on the previous slide. So from a naturopathic and lifestyle support, so beyond frequencies, and quite often I like to use them together with the frequency. So synergistically, what I found in my experience of working with the Healy is that when we combine it with other natural medicines, that they have this beautiful synergistic effect where they like accentuate and augment each other's potencies. So for herbs or teas, chamomile, valerian, passion flower, and lavender are really nice teas to have in the evening. Again, it works to support your nervous system, and these are sort of sleep inducing. Ashwagandha is a really beautiful herb. It's adaptogenic, so it works great for your nervous system as well as your immune system, and it really provides some nervous system support. And you can take this in supplement form. You can take this in, they have them as teas as well. And then essential oils, I love using essential oils in the evening when I'm preparing for bed. It's part of my bedtime routine. I have a diffuser that's right next to my bed. And so some essential oils that are really great, again, for calming the nervous system and for sleep inducing are lavender, valerian, chamomile, so similar to the teas. There's bergamot, cedarwood, and sandalwood, and then as well frankincense. So I'll talk about this in a few minutes, but really creating that nightly routine, and then our body starts to be activated by like, oh, okay, it's time to go to bed soon. So your body starts preparing. And we have these, I like to engage all of the senses because it's sort of like our body it activates this. So, okay, I'm smelling this. It's like calming to my nervous system. So again, bringing back that sort of intention and consciousness to really healing our body and providing these tools and beautiful remedies that we can implement into our lifestyle. So tending to our organs is another one, as I mentioned with the Chinese medicine and the different times of the day, but supporting our kidneys, which our adrenal glands sit on top of the kidneys, so they work together. So quite often sleep issues are related to kidney and liver. I would say almost the top 2, but also our spleen. Our spleen is super important organ within our body, and when it's out of balance, it can cause sleep issues, as well as stomach and digestive, like running stomach meridians or running frequencies to support stomach fully digesting our food, but also digesting experiences. And then I love sound therapy. So I love to combine this with the Healy in the evening. I'll run some either binaural beats, or if you go onto YouTube and you just type in like sleep frequencies, binaural beats, sound therapy for sleep, there's like millions of different options. So I like to be listening to this prior to bed. Again, it's sort of like triggering my body. Okay, we're moving into this calm, relaxed state. We're preparing for sleep. So again, integrating these different remedies to create a beautiful nighttime routine. So I have a list of sleep optimization tools. This is usually some stuff that I work with my clients if they are having any sleep issues. So some of the things that really help our body, because we want to be working with our body, not against it. And so avoiding a full stomach. So making sure that you're eating, hours before you're going to bed. Ideally, you're not having anything 2 to 3 hours before bed. When you eat and your body is digesting, it's all of the energy is going towards that. So it's hard for our body to get into this sort of deeply relaxed state in preparation for sleep. Also avoiding any stimulants. So coffee, in the afternoon and evening, chocolate, not overdoing it with chocolate, nicotine and alcohol, although alcohol especially can sort of give us that upsurge of energy and then it crashes and then it impacts our sleep. And then also in the evening, if you have any kind of digestive issues and affect your sleep. Maintaining a regular sleep schedule, so ideally going to bed around the same time each evening and waking up at the same time. This is the greatest way and one of the simplest ways to really reset our circadian rhythm and get it back into balance. And maintaining this throughout the week and even including on the weekends. And then creating a really soothing nighttime routine. So and I think on the next slide I have it about getting off screens, and then I like to do yoga in the evening, so I do yoga. I have my essential oils going. I have some music going, and that's sort of all priming my body for sleep. So whether you want to take a bath with essential oils, doing yoga or meditation, having the music or sound healing, reading like a physical book, it's a great way to like put you to sleep. And limiting technology. I mean, I tell my clients at least 1 hour before bed. I mean, ideally 2. So any kind of screens, all screens emit a blue light, blue light, I think it's blue light, and which stimulates the brain, and it actually inhibits melatonin release. And so screens in the evening can inhibit melatonin release by up to 3 hours. So if you're on screens right before bedtime and then you're having difficulty falling asleep, it might be because of that. And so, I always challenge people, like, try to do something for an hour where you're not on screens right before bed. And doing the bedtime routine is a nice sort of switch from the screens to sort of support our body in other ways. And then also creating an optimal environment for sleep. So making sure that your room feels comfortable, that you feel safe in that space, making sure that the temperature is not too hot or not too cold, keeping your room as dark as possible. Now, I live in the tropics. It gets light at like 4:30 in the morning, and the roosters are going, and there's all this noise. And so I sleep with an eye mask and earplugs, because that's what helps me and my environment. I'm working with my environment and not against it. I also will use white noise machine quite often, or if you have a fan, having the fan kind of in the room can block out some of that noise too, if you're not a big fan of the white noise. But really just kind of creating that environment that will put you in a relaxed, restful, safe space. So some other suggestions we talked about earlier: regular exercise. So regular exercise helps us combat anxiety, reduces our stress, and tends to help us sleep better. So when we're exercising, we feel tired at night. We're ready and rested, and we want to go to sleep. So the suggestion around exercise is typically doing higher intensity stuff earlier in the day, and then maybe in the evening, if you feel called to move your body, that doing more of like a yin yoga or some sort of just like light stretching, or even a qigong, to just kind of get the energy moving, but in a slower, gentle pace. And then also, processing our thoughts and emotions. So in the evening, I have a practice. In the morning, I wake up and I take some deep breaths, and then I practice gratitude. And in the evening, I do the same. So I take 5 deep breaths, and I just list a couple of things that I'm grateful for, and it just helps me move my mental state into that kind of calm, peaceful, grateful mindset, rather than, if you're more prone to your mind spinning, or that's when the stress starts to steep in. Just finding those ways of working through that. So really giving yourself enough time to process your thoughts and your feelings from the day prior to going to sleep. And then this is why I love running Gold Cycle in the evening release as well, because I'm running release. I have that conscious intention. I'm letting go of everything from the day. I want to go to bed with a peaceful heart and a light heart. And that typically helps me fall into a deeper sleep. So that's the presentation on sleep. If anybody has anything to share, or maybe some programs that they love and use for sleep, or any of the other frequencies that I mentioned, totally open to feedback. There were a lot to choose from in terms of the frequencies. The Healy is actually really beautiful for supporting sleep and resetting circadian rhythm and detoxifying all of our organs. I can only fit so much into a presentation. So anyone wants to share at this point?
This was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. At the beginning of the call, I checked myself, I scanned myself, and sure enough, it came up as #1 priority: sleep. It's late here. And then sleep systemic. So I was like, super excited to hear your download. So this was super comprehensive. I loved it. So I'll definitely listen to the recording. Thank you so much. I was wondering if
Awesome.
I don't have any not a whole lot of experience with the natural cycle yet, but have you dove, is that the word, doved, whatever, into it in respect of sleep in any way, or how would you relate the natural cycle to this?
I haven't worked with natural cycle yet, because I've been studying Chinese medicine and Taoist medicine, and they talk about, the different detoxifications. So I've been running those frequencies, either the bioenergetic harmony, if those are in there, and as well as the meridians. So each organ has a high and a low point. And so Nuno talks about running the, when the organ is at the highest point, that's when you want to be running those cycles. So his works very similarly. It's just that it does it for you, and it like determines when you should be running it, and it's amazing. I haven't dove into it yet, but I really look forward to doing that. So, but yes, detoxing organs at certain times of the day will help reset that natural cycle, right? And I think his program is geared towards that. It's really resetting our natural cycle to the planets, to the moon cycle, to seasons. So, yeah, that is a great question.
Thank you so much.
All right. So our July promo for
Andrea, thanks.
Awesome, thank you. Have you used the sleep frequencies much, Cassie? You've done a lot with mental balance, nervous system.
Hear me okay? Am I delayed? Can you hear me?
Oh, we hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I have actually. I used a lot of deep rest when I first started using the Healy. I just wanted to start first with my vagus nerve regulation, because I figured that would help reset all the organs initially. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah. And so I started a lot with deep rest, and then I gradually laid off and started with fine flow. I've been really blessed in my life to sleep really well, but I can sometimes, when I go through bouts of depression, then I will. So I kind of have like, I don't know, I have this grand ability to be able to just sleep. Which is great, but then at the same time, like you were talking about, it's just really good to have a regular sleep cycle. So since using Healy, for me, since using Healy, go to bed at like 8, 5, 9, and I've played seamlessly, and I love relaxation. Now I kind of have a problem when I'm going through certain my problem going to, but really listen to.
Oh, you're breaking up a lot.
Am I? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. How about now? Is that bad? I know I'm in a spot. I thought I would pull over for a second, but
we catch like every second or third word, it seems.
And now you're frozen.
Now I'm frozen.
Oh.
Is that better? Oh my gosh.
Oh, that does.
No
it does seem better.
Okay. It does? Okay. Anyway, I loved what you were talking about in terms of deep relaxation. And I do a lot of Joe Dispenza when I go to sleep at night. So that really helps put me in, I think, just a theta state, or a beta state. I get confused on the two. But anyway, GABA. Did you mention GABA for sleep?
I didn't mention GABA, but it's a good one. It's great for nervous system.
So I've done a lot. And then there's another one that starts with V, valerian root.
Mm-hmm.
Have you
mentioned that one?
You did? Okay. Anyway, but Yes, I've used a lot of the sleep programs, and I love them, and I highly recommend them. They can sometimes create really weird dreams sometimes. So I try not to do too much before I go to bed, except for if I'm just going to vibrate it into my field. Anyway,
Right.
love you guys. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you for that feedback. That's good. So just to wrap up our July promo. Oh, yeah.
I have this. So is it a myth, or years and maybe decades ago, I heard the healthiest sleep is before midnight? Did you mention any of that? Is that a myth, or is that truly the case? Do you know
I mean, I
anything?
think that that's proven. Yes, they say ideally getting to bed before 10 because it's, after that is when our body, the melatonin again, is like releasing from 8 p.m. And so sometimes if you delay, then the melatonin will have peaked and you miss that sort of deep relaxation, the opportunity to fall into that deeper sleep. So yeah, that's not a myth. I think that's proven by research and science. Ideally going to bed before 10 so that you get into that deep sleep, and then ideally you want to begin, because the gallbladder is detoxing between 11 and 1. We want to be ensuring that we're getting into that deeper relaxed state so that our body can rest and repair.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
I have 10
great
more
point. Okay.
It's 10 o'clock.
Okay, we're going to wrap up. So just to quickly talk about July promo, all the editions are on promo for 50% off right now. So we've got 5 days left, 4 days. So share with your friends and your family and get a Healy. And then just some additional calls that are offered: Tech Tip Tuesday with Ken, which happens on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. There's Healy for beginners and beyond. So these are Healy corporate calls. So anybody that's shared this with you or for additional training and info, please tap into those. We have a Telegram group for Healy Wellness and Empowerment. So if you'd like that, we can share that and get you in there for updates about these calls and other things that are happening within the Healy organization. And yeah, that's it for today.
Thank you so much.